We are Popcorn, Piss, and Vinegar, giving you a raw take on movies, television, and pop culture. My name's Chris.
I'm Scott.
I am JB4.
So, first show of 2018.
2019.
That's God, see, that's it. That's like signing the fucking check. I'm going to be sitting there scratching it out.
Oof.
Sorry, first show of 2019.
Groundhog's Day.
That's it. That's it, man. I'm like Phil, man. Phil Connors. So,
you are.
Yeah.
That's it. So, first of all, let's get the real business out of the way. Did everybody enjoy their holiday? Everybody have good Christmas, good New Year's?
I did.
Sure,
I
yes.
gave Netflix my full attention.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I did too, in more ways than one. But we're only going to talk about one aspect of that. We'll get to the next one. Just to put everybody on notice here, if you've been listening, our show has pretty much kind of been in a news format where we go and we kind of talk about topics of the day between movies and television and things like that. Well, we've kind of decided that we want to change things up and freshen the show up after our now almost 5 years. Well, it'll be 5 years this year?
That's insane.
Yeah.
Maybe
238, 39
in fact,
shows.
I think even it might be 6 because I think we started in 2013, if I'm not mistaken.
I'll have to check the records.
Yeah, I have to check the records on that. Yeah, it was 2013 because Affleck was announced as Batman, and that movie didn't come out till 2015.
First episode, by the way.
Yeah, So yeah, there it is.
No wonder he looks tired.
Yeah.
He's been carrying this yoke on his back for 6 years.
Well,
This
anyway,
is the only aspect of my life that's gone fast.
yeah. Sorry about that, but yeah. I mean, what we decided to do is go to the news format. We're going to leave our news over at Not Real Movie News over at our brother/sister podcast show, Not Real Radio.
Yeah, and we'll probably post a lot of it on our Facebook group too to play around with.
Yeah, we're going to be promoting that more and more. So look, please jump in the conversation. We started this week. I think we posted some things about a Roger Rabbit sequel and also Dan Aykroyd joining Zombieland 2. So make sure to check out Not Real Radio and also check out our Facebook group, PPVGuys. And as always, you can subscribe over at iTunes and you can check out our YouTube link, which I'll actually be more heavily promoting. So
thanks for listening, Unseen.
No, yeah. So thanks for listening, Unseen. But look, let's get on to the new format here. What we've decided to do is drill down on one movie, and we're going to start with Bird Box, which if a movie has 15 minutes of fame, we're on about the 16th minute right now. But I think that we've caught it to where everybody's kind of seen it, or a lot of people have seen it. At least we know for a fact that a third of Netflix subscriber base has seen it. So out of 136 million subscribers on Netflix, 45 million people have watched this movie just in the first week.
That's nuts.
I have a theory about two of those things.
Let's get into what Bird Box is,
okay.
And then we'll get into plots and what makes it so popular and all that good shit.
Perfect.
All right. So first of all, what Bird Box is, it's based on a novel that was written by the lead singer of a band, Josh Mallerman. He was the singer of The High Strung. This novel was released in 2014. It was actually written in 2008, but in 2009 there was a movie that was put out by M. Night Shyamalan Ding Dong that was called The Happening. And there was also another movie that Viggo Mortensen starred in that was called The Road. Mallerman feared that his novel was going to kind of get lost in the shuffle of these two properties since they were both kind of these post-apocalyptic storylines.
Yeah, Cormac McCarthy wrote The Road, which
I hear is a very depressing movie, but it's very good.
And so is the book.
The book was released in 2014, and it was actually released to pretty high acclaim. He was given a James Abert Award, or a James Herbert Award, and he was nominated for the Michigan Notable Book Award and Bram Stoker's Award for Best First Novel. Prior to its release, the book was optioned by Universal Studios that would see Scott Stubber, who is now the head of the original films at Netflix, and Chris Morgan, who was the executive producer for Fast and the Furious. Eric Heiser who was nominated for an Oscar for Best Adapted Screenplay for The Arrival. He wrote the screenplay, which he stayed on as that. And the original director was going to be Andy Muschietti, who we know for Mama and It. It was originally optioned.
A hell of a...
Yeah, big time. So it was originally optioned by Universal Studios, and eventually it found its way over to Netflix. Muschietti was replaced with a Danish director named Suzanne Bier. She's best known for her film Brothers, and she was the first female director to win a Golden Globe for The Night Manager,
which is a great miniseries.
which you've spoken on the show in the past. So, I mean, add in Sandra Bullock, add in John Malkovich, and a cast of some other young hot actors or hot personalities to put this thing on Netflix, and you have a veritable who's who, in this thing. Also, what I forgot to mention also is that Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross did the soundtrack for this movie.
Yes,
good get there.
Which good get, and I mean, I went and listened to the soundtrack. I didn't want to watch this movie twice because I just didn't have the time, and for other reasons that I'll get into. But I did go and listen to the soundtracks. I listened to probably about 5 tracks from the 9 Inch Nails collab between Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross.
They've done a bunch of soundtracks.
They've done a bunch of shit, and it's really good. I mean, The Social Network, I think, kind of stands as the peak of what they've achieved. But I mean, they're I mean, dude, it's Trent Reznor. He's a fucking master, man. He's a very accomplished composer, as is Atticus Ross. So I mean, that's basically the background in the movie. So now we'll dig down into it and we'll give our thoughts. Ginger, why don't you start, buddy?
Is this a plot? I mean, is this a plot? Is this a
yeah? Oh yeah, we're gonna spoil the fuck out of this movie, and we're gonna do that with every episode that we do. So, take the advice of our friends Mark, Kate, and Chad Lott over on Scary Thoughts. If you don't want to know about this movie and watch it before you listen to this episode, hit pause, check out Bird Box, and then come on back. But we're going to spoil the shit out of it. So, all right.
So what do you want from me right now?
What do I want from you?
Do you want me to give you like the plot?
It's already hostile.
We'll talk about talk about the plot, and we'll talk about what we think of it and all that shit.
I had no idea what this was about when I saw it advertised on Netflix. I just knew Sandra Bullock starred, and she wore a handkerchief over her face, and it looked like a scary film, like a horror type film. And I was like, all right, so I'm kind of in. I have some time over the holidays because this dropped the Friday before Christmas, so I had some time to kill, and I put it on, and like I said, no idea what I was going to get into, but it kept me on the edge of my seat for the whole 2 hours. I had no idea where it was going, how it was going to end, what was going to happen. And by the time it ended, I was kind of like, okay, I guess I did a whole 2 hours to find out really nothing. And then the more I thought about it, I kind of relinquished that thought and just let it go. Like I enjoyed the film for what it was, just a couple hours of horror, put me on the edge of my seat. So I liked it. Would I recommend it to someone? Absolutely. Am I going to go out in the middle of the street and yell to the gods that everyone must watch this? No, it's a film. So for me, I don't understand the very passionate people who are super passionate about the film. Either way, whether they love it to death or whether they hate it to death, I don't get that. And the only thing I could think of is because it released during Christmas and that a lot of people had time to watch it, so that they're very, the numbers are very high. Like you said, 43 million
Yeah,
people?
45 million people, and I'll get into that in a minute when we get around to my turn. But I mean, yeah, it's no doubt. I mean, regardless of what we think or what you think or what we're about to say about this movie, it is a phenomenon. I mean, granted, a very short one, but it is a phenomenon.
Well,
I mean,
it also goes back to how we were talking about Netflix kind of dialing in the numbers and really kind of going after their prospective audiences, because obviously, like I said, I liked it. So they kind of, Netflix sort of has me on autopilot as far as getting me in, and apparently with 45 million other people as well.
If you think about it, Netflix, with Bird Box and with another movie that released a week after Bird Box called Bandersnatch, which is the Black Mirror movie, which is going to actually be covered on our next episode.
It's Bizarro Cumberbatch.
Dude, fucking Netflix dominated the last part of 2018 with social media. I mean, dominated it between these two movies. That's the only fucking thing people talked about for like a week.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as like entertainment shit, I mean, dude, the memes it is unfucking real.
So
I mean,
this is off the subject, but on the subject of Netflix, as far as dominating the social cycle. It's funny that we're talking about that and people are still talking about Bird Box. When Stranger Things Season 3 got a release date of July 4th, and no one talked about that.
yeah,
That is...
It was like a little blip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people were just like, whatever.
Yeah.
Bird Box. I'm like, okay.
Well, I mean that's it. I mean, and I don't think that with this Bird Box thing, it confuses me. I mean, I really don't.
Why don't you go, Chris?
All right, so Bird Box reminds me a lot of the movie 28 Days Later. Why it reminds me of this movie is because 28 Days Later takes the theme from George Romero's original zombie trilogy and compacts it all into one movie. That's all it really is. It took all of his social commentary, all of his themes from Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, and Day of the Dead, and kind of like all bow tied it into this movie.
Did you like 28 Days Later?
It was okay.
Yeah.
It was an all right movie. I mean, like I think George Romero did it better.
Absolutely.
I think my issue with this movie is that this movie to me is the glaring example of what I call Netflix mystique. This is the Emperor's New Clothes of fucking of streaming entertainment. This movie is The Happening, The Road, Mist, and Walking Dead all combined in one movie with a completely unsatisfying ending. The ending was so fucking stupid. I could not believe, like these other movies where I sit there and I don't need a bow-wrapped ending. I think my problem with it is that the ending was completely unrealistic. You're talking about a thing to where now you have these people that are trapped in this house. It would Night of the Living Dead Mist kind of quality where you have these different personalities that are locked in this house. And they're trying to, kind of escape this horrible thing that's outside. Well, this thing is so fucking relentless that's outside. Even unlike The Mist, that kind of gives you the ending. I mean, dude, like, she goes off, she's blindfolded, she goes through the boat, she gets to the retirement community, which immediately, when I hear, and like, I had to laugh because I heard it in my head, "This is Rick, we got supplies." I was too. Like, dude, as soon as I heard him, like, are you fucking kidding me? Come on, you should at least name the character something different. I was like, dude, I like immediately I was like, are they gonna fucking go to Alexandria? Is this gonna be like, is this something, is like Walking Dead like a little microcosm of Georgia, and this is like the rest of the world?
I would have absolutely.
And this is the zombie.
Is this the first Walking Dead movie?
Yeah, right. I mean, is this actually what this is? Well, so they go through all this shit, and dude, at the end of the fucking movie, you got like this Grim Reaper from fucking hell that actually not only makes people commit suicide, it has enough brain to sit there and say, well, I can't get everybody, so in order to get everybody, I'm going to make this little fucking legion of psychotic minions that's going to go out and like hold people's eyes open so they kill themselves too. I mean, dude, you mean to tell me just because you live beyond the river rapids in a fucking school for the blind, you're going to fucking survive this shit? Dude, it was just kind of fucking dumb. And this is what I mean by Netflix mystique. Just because it's on Netflix, it's quality programming. No, it's not. This movie is fucking subpar bullshit. They lucked out that this thing became a social media phenomenon. The movie is really not good. I don't think it's good at all. It's got top shelf talent in it. I mean, dude, great director, great composers. I mean, dude, you can make the argument that Sandra Bullock, like, is probably, if you take the top 15 actresses in Hollywood right now, she could easily be put in those ranks. Maybe even top 10 in her abilities and her ability to not only carry a movie but to be a decent actress. John Malkovich, he's like fucking like American Ben Kingsley. He's in a lot of shit as much as he's in good stuff too, I mean, he was fucking over the top in the movie. They get the guy from Get Out, who's they get him, which I think he was completely wasted. I'm like, dude, he's almost the same fucking character Like, he's almost the same character as he was in Get Out in a way. He's the guy who's kind of hyper-conscious as to what's actually going on. And then, it's like, because he's a gamer. Oh, well, nice play, Stranger Things. And so, I mean, you got that shit. And then you got this fucking kid, Machine Gun Kelly. You got this asshole that's in the movie. He's some popular hip-hop fucking guy that, sold 56 million downloads because he fucking picked a fight with Eminem or some shit. And then you have the
was he the boyfriend?
Yeah, he was the one that was trying to fuck the cop. And then the cop, I think she was a Maze Runner is what I read on her. So, Sarah Paulson, I mean, dude, she's a big-time actress, and she's kind of reduced to a cameo.
But that's sort of the shock of it.
And that's fine. And like I said, man, look, I'm not saying that the movie didn't have some intense moments. I just sat there and I'm sitting there watching. I'm like, fuck, dude, I've seen this. This is a whole bunch of shit that I've seen before, all thrown in a blender.
Well, it sort of reminded me of The Happening in that it started off great, and then how do you end that?
Yeah.
But in a lot of ways, The Happening was worse because it was trees and it was Mark Wahlberg running away from wind blowing through. That was just ludicrous.
But if you think, I mean, dude, this was the same shit. I mean, it was fucking wind blowing with a little bit of shadow that shows up.
Dude, man's drawing pictures of what they think they see. So
two things. Number one, my analogy would be more in terms of Bird Box. I thought they more successfully generated a force of malevolence that I thought was analogous to Raiders of the Lost Ark. Keep your eyes shut, Mary, and don't look, right? Right. Tornadoes and stuff like that. And I had read that the producers actually insisted that they create a monster for this thing.
Yeah.
So they did. It was apparently like part snake, part babyface. And apparently both the director and Sandra Bullock were like, I can't be afraid of this. This is just hilarious.
Well, that was the thing. They say when they paraded this thing on the set to actually show the picture of it, they say the director actually laughed.
Yes.
It's like, are you fucking serious? And I look, that part of it, the budget on this fucking movie, dude, was under $20 million. $19.8 million. So, look, fuck the fact that the movie was bullshit or whatever, okay? Mm-hmm. Let's look at what this movie's done. Mm-hmm. 45 million views. If you take the entire month of December to the box office that's happening in the movie theaters sold $46 million, sold 46 million tickets. And that's gross.
Total box office?
That's total box office for Aquaman and all this shit. This fucking movie on its own pulled 45 million. It didn't have half of the advertising budget as Aquaman, all this shit. They went on viral marketing because Netflix... I saw some commercials. I saw commercials when I watched football on fucking Monday.
So did I. And I saw, wow, okay.
There was a couple of commercials here and there, but it wasn't a full-out blitz. Like Aquaman, that movie's been stuffed up my ass for fucking 2.5 months. This movie, I've only seen a couple of passing stuff. I've seen more social media marketing than I've seen on actual television. And granted, I mean, I stream a lot of stuff, but dude, I watch Hulu and I'm watching live TV pretty regularly. So, I mean... It was there, but not as present as what you would see with... I mean, dude, Mortal Engines, which was a fucking bomb, had more television marketing than this movie, Bird Box.
No doubt, yeah.
Right.
So, I mean, dude, regardless of what you think about it, I mean, what it's able to do, and I've read a detail with this. I got all this information from Forbes. Mm-hmm. That's a big victory as far as that stuff is concerned. Now, still... Granted, Netflix, got 45 million people to watch this thing, and their stock actually went up 4% after the viewing of Bird Box and all that. But it still questions if Netflix is a sustainable model. That's what the experts are asking. And the reason why is because, look, I got 45 million people to watch my movie, and I got your $11 or $12 a month for you to watch Bird Box. Right. But that $12 a month has to make Ozark. It has to make Glow. It has to make Orange is the New Black. It has to make all that shit, too.
Or we don't know what those numbers are.
And we don't know what those numbers are. Well, I mean, put it this way. This is what we do know. Regardless of who's watching what and all that bullshit, this is what we do know. Netflix has 136 million subscribers. Multiply that times $12. Now, granted... you have to be a little bit conservative with that because there's some people who are getting it as part of telephone plans, and that's what makes the stock look better.
Right.
Is just the fact that saying, yeah, I have 136 million viewers of Netflix or subscribers. You know, who knows what's watching, you know, what you're actually watching. Look, dude, I pay $12 a month for Netflix. I promise you, I am not taking full advantage of what Netflix has to offer to me as a viewer. Oh, I guarantee you I'm not. I'm not getting my money's worth for $12 a month.
I think I am, and I can.
You watch a lot of TV, though. I don't compared to you.
I can say that now, especially with the holidays, and we took full advantage of, you know, we would get done during the day and just watch some TV at night, and I don't know what to watch. I don't know. There's nothing really to watch, so it was just like, oh, put on Netflix. Oh, look, Infinity War's on. Let's watch that. Oh, look. Let me finish Sabrina. Oh, look. Let me, you know, I was just kind of wrapping up things, but still, I mean, I watched a lot. I watched a lot on Netflix. They got their money from me. Well, or I got my money's worth. Let's put it that way.
What I find very interesting about Netflix projects writ large is that it's almost impossible to talk about a success or a failure on Netflix without talking about the service itself. You know what I mean? Like, there's a very interesting inability for people talking about the success of the films to not shoehorn in relative to Netflix's, you know, love or hate in the marketplace.
I'll go back to what I said originally about Netflix. They're using, you know, we talked about them using the algorithm. Mm-hmm. I find that the stuff that I hate, that I don't like on Netflix, more often is stuff that people suggest to me. Like, oh, you should check out this show, and I'll watch. I'm like, it's okay. But I would say 7 out of 10 times that Netflix suggests something to me, it's usually palatable for me.
Well, so they read your personal messages on Facebook, right?
Maybe.
See, but that's what I think's funny about this thing is, and I knew this was going to be with this movie, is that this movie, really truthfully, I mean, you go and look at it on Rotten Tomatoes, dude. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 65%. So I mean, it's so I would say it's probably
a fresh, barely.
Yeah, that's not even barely fresh. That's kind of like, you know, you have 2 days to eat it before you throw it in the trash. You know.
Okay.
So basically 6 out of 10. So, you know, leaning a little bit positive from the middle of the road, but just a little bit. You know.
I think that's a good average.
So do I.
But that's the thing, though. Look. That's my point. Look, dude, I will take a shit all over this movie. I really will. But that being said, I think the surrounding story is what's more interesting about Bird Box than the movie itself. I mean, dude, fucking memes everywhere to the point where people were saying, is this bots doing this shit?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, dude.
I was just about to say, Netflix was accused of carpet bombing with bots.
Dude, I went on fucking Twitter. It got to a point to where it was the Bird Box challenge. They had people blindfolding themselves and blindfolding their kids and walking around their house to see if they could actually, like, fucking maneuver shit.
So Netflix has come out today and has made a statement saying, look, don't do the Bird Box challenge. That is ridiculous. We don't need to see you doing... We don't need to see you wind up in the hospital.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, I mean,
nuts.
I mean, that's the thing. Well, it's the same thing with Beavis and Butthead, and even with Jackass. You know, don't do this stupid shit, and don't send videos of you doing this stupid shit because we're not even going to look at them. We're going to throw them in the trash. Shit. Oh yeah, dude. And I mean, that's it. It's people doing dumb shit, and it's the same old thing. It's escalation. It's something coming from something else. You know, I mean, dude, it's the same thing with Bird Box. It's something coming from something else. Raiders of the Lost Ark. The reason we have that movies is because of 1930 serials. You know, the reason we have a movie like Bird Box is because of shit like George Romero or M. Night Shyamalan. And that's the thing. And even when it comes to people doing stupid fucking pranks, there has to be one asshole that takes one idea and they spin it into ridiculousness. No pun intended, MTV. And that's how you get fucking YouTube videos of people doing dumb shit.
Right.
So, I mean, that's really what the whole thing is. So like I said, I think that the social media craze and the actual rebound of Netflix, which a lot of people in Forbes magazine have been saying, sell, actually got a pretty hefty rebound. I think that their shares now are almost, I think, are right under $250 a share. So,
wow, okay.
Yeah, so I mean, it's
I mean, I don't know what the math is. I tried to do it on my calculator app, and it sort of maxed out. But $12 a month from 125 million subscribers, let's just say 100 million, that's billions. That's a billion something. So when you tell me that they had a $4 billion in the red ledger, it's like, oh, that's just essentially 4 months of belt tightening.
But the problem with it is that they keep making shitloads of loans in order to make more of this original programming. It's apparent that this stuff's expensive to make. Because I mean, every 6 months or so, you read they make a $1 million, they make a $1 billion loan for this new programming. I mean, even to the point, I think now they made a $2 billion loan. I think they're like $2 billion in the last thing that they reported. They did a $1 billion loan, then a year later they did another $1 billion loan. And it goes back to that article that we were talking about in shows from a couple of weeks ago. The issue with it now is that when it comes to streaming, we're really at the dawn of this. Yeah, Netflix kind of came in and they revolutionized the market. But now you have all these companies that are sitting back and saying, Netflix, thank you so much for the technology. You have taught us well. So now he motherfucker that has the most content wins. Yep. So that's really what it comes down to. And I mean that's
and Disney got Thor's hammer, literally.
Disney has Thor's hammer, they have Han Solo's blaster pistol, they have Luke Skywalker's lightsaber, and they have Mickey Mouse's fucking mouse ears. They got it all. But think of it also though, you have the other ones. You do have Warner, you do have all these other companies that have their own shit. And when you look at something like Netflix, they're going to pull back now and go, look, dude, we got to kind of like take our shit to do our thing. So now Netflix is done holding the ball, trying to come up with their own original content that they're going to own. But, it's a little bit more expensive for them because they're having to create new content out of thin air. Where these other companies can say, yeah, dude, we'll shovel 70% of our fucking back catalog on you, which is value added, to the original shit that we're going to do.
But I mean, let's not forget Netflix. I mean, Netflix is the reason Breaking Bad ran for so long. It's been a valuable asset to a lot of other companies, and even now, there are things taken off on there, like the British Bake Off, which dude, I'm not a big. I mean, it's essentially the Chef Challenge. What do they call it?
Chopped.
Black Mirror.
Yeah.
Black Mirror.
Black Mirror, right.
Black Mirror got a second life because of Netflix.
Top Chef.
It was it was a big badass show that was on fucking BBC. Well, no, it was on Channel 4.
Yep.
It was on. 4. Yeah, it was in Channel 4 in London or in England rather. And I mean, dude, it blew up and Netflix got it. I mean, dude, a lot of shows.
I think Arrow actually did really, really well as a result of Netflix.
As a result of Netflix, even to the point now to where CW, they came in and they said, okay, look, when a season ends, 2 weeks after a season ends, you'll get the whole launch. So they got that deal. Yeah, they got that deal with Netflix, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
If you're behind things and you want to watch it, I mean, yeah, you got to wait till the end of the season, but at least you don't have to wait till the beginning of the next season to catch up. You can catch up.
Like 3 seasons of The Flash to catch up on?
Oh fuck, dude, I'm so behind on everything.
It's good.
But what I'm saying is that look, Black Mirror, another one, dude. Look, Lucifer. That show now has a second life because of Netflix.
Yep.
The Expanse. Now, granted, it's not Netflix, but it's Amazon Prime, and it's the same whole thing. Amazon, thank you so much, Netflix, for teaching us. And that's the thing. Amazon they'll be able to kind of have their life because, I mean, dude.
Yeah, they still have Lord of the Rings that they're working on.
They got a bunch of their own properties, and on top of that, too, is that they kind of like carve their shit with HBO. So they got HBO's catalog. They got a bunch of their own shit. And on top of that, too, is just by default of selling movies, they get the benefit of that. And on top of that, too, is they branched in a whole different technology. Look, Google Home and all that shit's all awesome and cool and all, but, dude, they struck with Alexa. They struck with it. They were the first ones there. Damn. And, I mean, dude, it's still fucking going. And I think I
still think it's the lava lamp of the 21st century.
Hey, but
I use it to play Jeopardy. That's it.
But, dude, look at iPhones, though. Look at iPhone since Steve Jobs have died. The iPhone actually is on the fucking down. The reason why a lot of people use them now, Zartome says all the time, they're used by old people and children. And the thing with it is that I have to admit, the reason I stick with my iPhone, it's intuitive. I like the fact that it works with all my other shit. I don't want a fucking Droid phone. It's a pain in the balls. I have a Droid tablet that is a pain in the balls. It's not intuitive. But the thing with it is, man, is that if you are a tech nerd and you really tear down things for what they're capable of, those Samsung Galaxy phones blow these fucking things out of the water. They really do. But the iPhone will always be there. Well, I mean, dude, go fucking... I mean, dude, look, I'm not a big tech guy. But, I mean, I'm good enough to where I can at least read an article and comprehend what the fuck they're saying. I mean, dude, a Samsung Galaxy, they say... and I mean, dude, the Droid market has finally topped the iPhone, hasn't it?
It has.
So it goes to show you, you know, I mean... But iPhone will always be there, is the point.
I want to go back to this Netflix, you know, kind of, they're on, you know, that took all the debt and they need to really get on board and start creating content. They got Sandra Bullock, and we said at the beginning of the show, like, top actresses, top 15 at least, you know, she is in a Netflix original. So
I mean, they got Kevin Spacey at the top of his game before he became.
How about this? How about this? Let's look at reality for what it is. Let's say that the $12 a month that you spend, let's say that has paid for Bird Box. Okay, $1 of that has paid for what it is.
Right.
So if you look at 45 million viewers, and $1 was for Bird Box, they've made $45 million on a movie that only cost them $19.8 million
so they doubled their money.
With no fucking advertising.
Yeah.
They didn't even have to pay for the advertising. And normally advertising, they say advertising is 50% of the movie's budget. So in other words, if you have a movie that you've made for $19 million, you're going to spend $10 million in fucking advertising.
Right.
So
Sandra Bullock didn't work for free either. So
no, but that's the thing though. Sandra Bullock didn't work for free.
Is she a producer on it?
Oh, fucking A, she was.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So that's the thing. She made her money. She made it where it is.
Absolutely.
She made the money where it is, and she made the deal and all that bullshit. And I guarantee you, part of it also is, look, these actors and actresses solely aren't in this shit for money. Some of them, man, look, they like the people they work with. They want to work with. I mean, look. You want to work with Suzanne Bier? Fuck, I've been dying to work with Suzanne Bier. Look, I got this little Netflix movie. It's a low-budget horror movie. Look, we can pay you a few million and you get to work with Suzanne. It's going to be minimal shit.
Yeah.
Fucking A, I'm in. I mean, there you go. And she's named as a producer and yada, yada, yada. There you go.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, I'm just saying that I don't think, like we're talking about Netflix carving the way, but they're putting their money where their mouth is. Like, hey, we took in $2 billion of debt. It's not like they got Joe actor off the street to be in Bird Box and he was the main star or she was the main star. They got Sandra fucking Bullock to be the main star in this movie that some people hate, some people don't hate, but 45 million people saw. Yeah. So I mean, they are, you know, I feel like yes, they're paving the way, but they're leaving their stamp of approval along the way.
Well, and look, no doubt. Look, there's no denying any of that. I think what it really comes down to is at the end of the day, and we will find out at some point, and I think some point soon.
I agree.
Is it sustainable? We'll find out at some point soon. Very soon. I'm thinking probably like 2 years we'll know.
You think?
Oh, fuck.
I think by the end of the year we should know.
I think you're going to have to really see what Disney and Warner Brothers do.
That's true.
You got to really see how that flies.
I mean,
and how
this year. Disney is this year.
Yeah, it's this year. But dude, you still, man, look, Rome isn't built in a day. You got to give it a chance to launch. You got to give it a chance to get all of its shit together. And here's the thing: you're not really going to know until people sit back. It's not like saying Disney's here, cancel Netflix. You got to wait for things to sit there and look at it. You know?
That is it though. Disney's here, cancel Netflix, because none of us are signed to 2-year contracts, 3-year contracts. We could cancel tomorrow.
Yep.
What I'm saying is that you need a little bit more lead to just sit there and say, okay, Disney's released. Okay, Netflix is out of business. We'll know in a week.
But I feel like the internet, being on the internet, things are, like with technology, things are just, they're faster than we think they are.
Well, here's
without question,
a wrinkle to consider. The CFO of Activision was just hired by Netflix.
Yeah.
And I think gaming might be a streaming thing for Netflix in the not too distant future.
Real fast, they said that whole thing with Bandersnatch, which we'll talk about later, that is the next thing for them.
We're going to save that for that episode, definitely.
Okay.
And that will be our next episode. We'll give you a couple of sneak previews, so to speak. Bandersnatch will be our next episode. We'll do that same thing, kind of drill down, give our opinion on it, give you some backgrounds on it. Trust me, I have a couple of gallons of piss and vinegar on that one for you. And then I think the one after that, I think if I don't know, I don't want to agree to it now, but I'm thinking maybe Glass will be maybe our third episode if we give us enough time to get to it.
I'll see it.
So yeah, Glass is of course the sequel to Unbreakable and Split. So that'll be our third. So yeah, be watching that stuff. Check out Bandersnatch so you can be ready for our next episode. Just to give this a quick wrap up. Thumbs up, thumbs down, recommendations on Bird Box. What you got, Scott?
I give it a thumbs up, but I won't. I don't. If you don't see it, I don't care.
Okay,
but it's good.
I give it a thumbs up. It's a solid horror movie.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
Like I said, I give it a thumbs down. I didn't like it. And I
Did you not like it because of the ending or the whole thing?
The ending finally pissed me
I'll
off.
say in the ending in the book, it's a community of people who gouge out their eyes.
Yeah, I can't really talk about the book because, dude, I haven't read it. So, I mean, I can't sit there and compare it. I can only talk about what I've seen as far as the movie.
So, I mean, were you like bull fucking shit midway through, or was it at the end?
I think the problem with the movie is as I was watching it, it is nothing that I haven't seen before. Okay. The movie reminded me mostly, if I was to really draw it to another movie, it reminded me a lot of The Mist. That's what it reminded me of the most.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Reminded me of the people being locked in the grocery store, having to leave to go get supplies and all that shit. Now, granted, I mean,
with a much happier ending.
Yeah, we're not talking about big insects and all that stuff. I think, and the ending,
great movie. Oh my god,
The Mist is fantastic. Yeah. In fact, you want my recommendation? Fuck this movie. Go watch The Mist. That's a great movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this would be my recommendation. I didn't like the movie. If you're a kind of person the way I've been there, I've done that, you probably won't like it either. But look, just for the purpose of the hype and just for the fascinating shit that went on with this movie in social media, I'm more fascinated by the background story of this movie than the movie itself. So look, if you're into trends and you want to kind of see what the big hubbub is about, check it out. If you really don't give a fuck, do give it a hard pass. That's just my opinion. So. Anyway, well, look, we'll go ahead and we'll end this one out. Look, please check us out over on iTunes. Make sure you subscribe over there at Popcorn, Piss, and Vinegar. Also, join our Facebook group. We're going to be dropping a lot of news over there. And check out our brother and sister podcast, Not Real Radio and Scary Thoughts. I'll be posting those YouTube links soon. Thanks for listening. End scene.